It's really easy to design perfect Roman blinds using Roman Blind Wizard. It's free to register, and you can start using it straight away. Log on and select the calculator from the main menu. The window reference, fabric, lining and interlining fields are all free format fields to help you identify this blind. Now we can start to specify the blind dimensions. Let's say we're making a blind which is 130.5 centimeters wide with a drop of 160 centimeters. We're working in centimeters here, but there's also an imperial wizard if you prefer to work in inches. The headrail allowance is the space taken up by a chosen headrail. In this example, I'll be using a sidewinder, for which I normally allow 5.5 centimeters. If you want the bottom fold to extend a little further than all the others, perhaps to fully display a border or to prevent sun damage to the other folds, you can specify it as an additional depth on the bottom fold here. Otherwise, just enter 0. The wizard then calculates the ideal number of fold sections for this blind. Now a fold section is half the distance between rod pockets, and a Roman blind will always have an odd number of fold sections. It might help to look at some of the diagrams from the wizard's help pages. You can see that the fold sections are arranged in pairs, down up, down up, down up, until the final down section at the bottom. So there must always be an odd number of fold sections. For a perfectly proportioned blind, enter an odd number here, which is close to the ideal number calculated by the wizard, in this case 11. Don't forget that you can get help on any field by clicking the question mark icon. If you want a cascading blind, enter the cascade increment here. The cascade increment is the amount by which you want each fold to fall lower than the previous one. This is normally anything from 1 to 5 centimeters. For a standard fold blind, you would enter 0 here. Let's say we want a cascade increment of 3. The wizard now calculates and displays the total depth of this blind when fully folded up, or the stacked up depth. It's very useful to know this measurement if you have any restrictions for fitting the blind, either above the window or in the window recess. The wizard also calculates the ideal number of cord drops based on the width of the blind. You should enter a number close to this ideal, in this case 4. The headrail and special instructions fields are free format and can be used to add the final specifications for this blind. Before clicking Calculate, you can go back to any of the input fields to make adjustments. For example, you may decide that a stacked up depth of 27.7 is actually too large, so you might decide not to have cascades in this blind. So amend the cascade increment to 0 and notice how the wizard instantly recalculates the stacked up depth. Maybe you'd like fewer fold sections to reduce bulk, so you could change the required fold sections from 11 to 9 and see again what happens to the stacked up depth. Or you might decide on a smaller cascade increment, so let's change the 0 to 1.5. In this way, you can keep adjusting all the variables until you arrive at a specification which you're happy with. You can do this as many times as you like, completely free of charge. When you're happy with all the details, click Calculate. There's a final confirmation because this is the point at which you use up a credit from your account. The wizard then produces and displays your workroom instruction sheet. This can be viewed on screen, printed out, saved to your PC, and has already been emailed to you. The workroom instruction sheet contains all the information and a complete bill of materials for you to make this blind. Reading from the table, you can accurately position your first rod pocket, measuring up from the bottom edge of the blind. All subsequent rod pockets are then measured up from the stitch line of the previous pocket. The positions will be correct whatever size pocket you make, and even if you use rod pocket tape. You can start using Roman Blind Wizard right now at www.romanblind-wizard.co.uk. Registration is quick and free, and you can start using it straight away.